We want the photos that we use in our websites and apps to look as good as possible. Now, in many cases, for example, if you allow your users to upload photos, for example, here I can upload a photo. Let's say I have some photo here. I'm gonna open this up. This is a picture of a landscape, and a lot of people will upload photos that are a little bit low quality. For example, these landscape photos often look a little bit bland, or they're a bit noisy, or it's too dark. And so there are many common problems in photos. But let me show you what happens if I upload here. If I upload here, it will be uploaded to my Filestack account, and here we see the original, and then here we see the improved version pop up. Right, so here I'm using Filestack image enhancement feature that can take an image and automatically improve the photo. Right, so you can see now that the grass here, all this green stuff is much more vibrant. It's more actually green. You can see that here some parts here are also a little bit more bright now, and the mist or the noise has been reduced. Right, so it's clearer what's going on here, but it's still misty. So we didn't really lose the character of the photo or anything like that. We just have an enhanced photo now. Right, so I have about 8 other examples I quickly want to show you. I'm using Filestack here for both the upload widget that we see here as well as the actual image enhancement feature, and they are also the sponsor of this video. So this is the auto preset essentially. How does that look like in code? It's very simple. I have a base URL from Filestack and the ID of the image, and I only have to squeeze in this parameter here, and it will automatically detect what's wrong and improve it. Now I have, so here let's actually try Vivid. I'm gonna upload another image here. I'm gonna pick the Vivid example. So this is the original image. I'm gonna upload this to my Filestack account. This is another landscape photo. Usually these are pretty bland and they lack contrast, they lack some color. So here you can see that now in the result here with the Vivid parameter, the grass here is a little bit greener, the sky is a little bit more blue, the trees here are also a little bit more, and the colors are just more vivid. It's a little bit subtle, but the improvement in quality is there. Very useful for landscape photos, which tend to become a little bit bland. Let me show you the beautify filter as well, or preset I should say. So I actually made a photo of myself. So let's actually see what Filestack can do with this. So here we're gonna have the original one. All right, so then here I am beautified. So what are the differences that we see? Well, here you can see under my eyes, it's quite dark. And here it has brightened that up a little bit. So you can see the eyes are also a little bit brighter. And the whole side of my face is just a little bit brighter. Do I look better here? Yeah, I think so. Now, what if I want to make it even better? There's also beautify plus, which the name already says. Do it even more. Let's actually see what we get if I do it one more time. All right, let's see. All right, so here then it looks like it made it even brighter. All right, next one I want to show you is very common with users that upload photos is it's too dark. So there's also fixed dark. And by the way, you don't have to pick the specific preset, right? As we just saw, you can just use auto. Auto can usually detect what's wrong, but maybe you want to use a specific preset, right? So now here you can see we have a bit of a dark building here, and you can see it has just brightened that up a little bit. It's still quite subtle, which is what we want, because we don't want a photo to look over corrected. So I think this still looks very natural and good. Also a very useful preset for if a user is taking a photo of themselves with the sun in the background, because then the face is usually quite shadowy or dark. Let's see, fix noise is another one. Also very common with user generated content is they have low quality cameras and it can be a little bit noisy. And actually we already saw this image for the auto, but I will show you this as well with fixed noise. Yeah, so here you can see we get a similar result as before. It's a bit misty here. It's a bit noisy here in the middle. You can see it has reduced that pretty substantially. Makes everything else in the photo come alive a little bit better. All right, so one of the last ones here, fixed tint. So very common in photos as well is that the photo has a certain color on it. So here it's quite blue, as you can see. The whole photo has a bit of a blue overlay or something. This can happen if, for example, there is some object shining in the camera, or there's the sun that makes everything look a little bit orangey or yellowy. But here you can see the color of the road is much more like an earthly color now. And before here you can see it's quite blue. Quite a cool look actually before, and now it's much warmer look. You can see here with the vegetation here that's also much greener. All right, there's another one for the outdoors, and actually should be outdoor. So outdoors usually comes with some specific issues as well. So here I have an outdoors photo. Let's see what it can do with this. And now we get a photo back here. You can see it's actually a bit brighter here, as you can see, because usually also very often these nature photos can end up a little bit dark. So it has nicely brightened that up a little bit and also made the colors look a little bit more alive. Right, so I think, and you can see the sky here is also more vivid in a way. Right, so I think that looks better as well. All right, last one I want to show you is actually fireworks. So you can imagine with special events like a graduation party or weddings, there are fireworks around New Year's Eve. Right, actually, a lot of these photos are going to be these are valuable photos that people really want to improve. Let's say you have some fireworks, very difficult to photograph actually, but let's see what we can get. All right, so here you can see it has properly increased the contrast. So the background is actually darker, which makes the actual fireworks much clearer here. Right, so here I'm picking a bunch of presets, but you don't need to do that. You can just leave it on auto, and then as we saw before, it will detect what's wrong or what could be improved and will do it automatically for you. This is probably going to be more practical in case you have many photos and you don't want to manually decide what's wrong and then which preset to use. Whenever I upload a photo, it's here in my Filestack dashboard. So here, for example, here I can see all the photos I uploaded. And no matter what your use case, you want good looking photos. If you have an e-commerce website, you want your product photos to look as good as they can, or photos in advertising, or maybe you're building some app and people can upload their photos, maybe actually really important photos for them, their wedding photos that are really important to people, and we want to enhance those photos so that they can look as good as possible. So these are some quick image enhancements. We can actually do much more with Filestack. We can upscale images, which will actually double their resolution. And here in the docs, they show you the intelligence system they have. So you can also detect the sentiment from an image, captioning, checking if it's safe for work, tagging images. In another video, I actually did OCR with Filestack, so you can upload a photo and it will extract the text from that photo. Very useful as well, so check out those videos. And we can do much more with images, so we can resize them, clip them, crop them, even smart crop, so it can detect what part of the image has a face in there and just crop around that, right? So many things we can do, and usually the only thing you have to do is just change the URL, right? So the way I set this up, let me quickly show you how I did that here. So here I have an H1 with a button. That's what I have on this page. All just one page. I have my H1 with a button right here. When I click the button, we get that Filestack picker overlay, which I think is really slick widget. I think it looks great. And users can pick from various sources to get the image. Here I just used my own computer as a source, but they can come from pretty much anywhere. We can configure which sources we want to allow. So if we click that, I'm setting that to true, right? So then with state, if I go down here I have that actual widget. I can configure it right here, right? So we can decide which files are allowed, so which like PNG or JPEGs. So then the user actually uploads something and we want to store that, right? So here I'm storing the ID or the handle in state as well. So then here on the left side, right? So then on the left side, we have a way to display the original file. Right, so here I have the uploaded file handle, and then here I can just use some base URL to actually display what the user uploaded, right? The base URL looks like this. I have a separate video on how to set up Filestack, so check that out. And then here we have the results, which is essentially going to be the same URL, and we can just squeeze in a parameter here to transform that image. The original image is preserved. It's going to create a new image file, right? So very easy and very powerful at scale especially. So I would say check it out. Thanks for watching this video, and I want to thank Filestack for sponsoring this video. Have a nice day. Bye.